Welcome Head Start families. I'm Laura Ballard, the ABC Unified School District Head Start Director. It is my pleasure to present to you our virtual parent enrollment meeting. There's a lot of different information that I'll be going over with you today in this recording, but please remember you can always refer back to it or reach out to one of us if you have any questions. So to begin, this is our team. So because we are entering a new era of hybrid and distance virtual learning, I wanted you to also put a name to all the wonderful staff members that you'll be able to work with during your time with Head Start. So the first one is me. As I mentioned, I'm the director, and then you'll see the remainder of the slide has all of the different wonderful people that you'll be able to work with during your time here at ABC Head Start. So let's get started. The beginning of this year is going to be like no other. We are going to begin in distance and virtual learning. You'll also hear us refer to it as DVL. Following Governor Newsom's recommendations that we are required to follow and make sure that our school district is on the no watch list for consecutive 14 days, the ABC board in July voted to begin our year virtually. This does not mean that we're not going to support you and your children. This means that we're going to continue supporting you and helping your child to reach their full potential socially, emotionally, and with their cognitive growth. We're going to do a very holistic approach to work with you and your child at home until it is safe to return to school. So what will that look like? We're going to ask you during this time to help with setting clear expectations for your child. This means we're going to be partnering with you on the school readiness goals. Every month, you're going to receive a creative curriculum school readiness calendar with different activities that you can work with your child at home. Also, we're going to ask you to help create the proper learning environment. Every Monday, we're going to ask you and your child to participate in a Monday Google Meet in person with a teaching team. This will allow the teaching team to set the precedent for the week and for you to be able to work with your child on the different activities on the school readiness creative curriculum calendar. Also, the teaching team is going to work with you and contact you either via email or a phone call every week so that you can share with the teaching team any additional needs that you have, and so that the teaching team can also individualize for your child. In addition to all of that support with the teaching team, we also are going to be able to provide additional support and motivation with our service area staff, whether it's our mental health provider, our education coordinator, or one of our family service workers. Here is a sample of a family schedule. We know that with all children, and even most of us, we work best when we have a schedule. So it's going to be really important that you set a schedule with your child. A suggestion that you see that we have here is that the day would begin before 9 a.m. This would allow your child to eat breakfast, to make their bed, to get dressed and ready for their DVL school day. Then from 9 to 10, we're suggesting that there's a morning physical activity. Maybe you take a walk as a family, do some yoga or stretch, or perhaps you participate and do one of the activities on the creative curriculum school readiness family calendar. Then from 10 to 11, that would be activity time, or academic time, where you're participating in the Monday Google Meet, that you're completing some of the activities from that creative curriculum school readiness calendar. 11 to 12, creative time, drawing, building, coloring, music, playing, anything that allows your child some creativity. Then from 12 to 12:30 would be lunch. Please make sure that you're scheduling those pickups that will be happening at all of our elementary sites from Monday through Friday from 2 to 3:30. And then again, academic time from 12:30 to 1, possibly a technology activity. We've been fortunate enough that we've been able to purchase Chromebooks for all of our families. Unfortunately, however, the Chromebooks have not yet arrived, and we do not foresee them arriving before October. But once those have arrived, then by all means, we will be reaching out to our families so that we can do a grab and go, and you're able to check out the device for the remainder of the school year. Then from 1 to 2:30, we're recommending quiet time. Typically in a Head Start day, since it lasts 6 hours, your child would have a rest time incorporated into their day. So that's why we're asking you to incorporate the quiet time into their day when they're doing DVL. Obviously, we know that not all children nap, So it could be resting, reading, or using a puzzle to remain quiet at that time. Again, this is a sample schedule. We encourage you to work with your child. And of course, we acknowledge that you may have other children at home that also are participating in distance and virtual learning. So work together as a family to come up with a schedule that meets the needs of everybody as you're working at home. Next, school readiness. So as I mentioned, we want to work with you in a partnership to help your child achieve their school readiness goals. So what does that mean? There are 5 different domains that are age appropriate. The first one you'll see is approaches to learning. Next, we have social and emotional development, then language and literacy, cognition, and then last would be those fine motor skills and physical development. Please note here that our wonderful ed coordinator, Laura Hernandez, has an Instagram that she posts different activities and suggestions for you as you're working at home with your child. Also, we and Head Start have what's called our Early Learning Outcomes Framework, or ELOF. What this does is this provides different developmental progress for our children. So it shows us where we want our children to be in the different stages of development. Luckily, there's this wonderful app here that you can have on your phone or any device. And what it does is it provides different activities to support your child's development. Within the PDF that you received of this PowerPoint, these are live links. So if you have an iPhone, you can click on this and download the app to your iPhone. Or if you have a Samsung device, you can go to the Google Play and download that for your device there. But lots of great resources that we'll be sharing with you throughout this presentation. So we also do an assessment with our children. Typically, it's 3 times a year. It's called the Desired Results Developmental Profile, or you'll hear us refer to it as DRDP. This is where we're going to have you be working with your teaching team and your child at home. So your teacher may ask you, hey, can you send me a picture? You said that your child is now able to hold the scissors and cut a straight line. Would you be able to send me a picture or video of it? Or maybe you share with them, hey, my child really is struggling with holding the scissors and cutting a straight line. So the teacher, when she checks in with you on a weekly basis, will be able to provide some additional strategies or activities to support your child and their development. So again, it's all about this partnership. It's all about communicating with each other and working together on this time where your child will be participating in the DVL. In addition, as you know, some of you have probably started speaking with our mental health coordinator or our education mentor coach or coordinator with what's called our ASQ. So this is a screening that we do with our children. This really helps us get a baseline for our teachers to know where your child's strengths are and where they may need some additional support. So this definitely is going to be a collaboration as you continue throughout the school year. As I mentioned, you hopefully have already had these appointment meetings set up, or some of you may have already completed them. It takes about 20 minutes on the phone. And in addition, we'll be asking you about the language that the child is hearing, because we do know how important it is to support a child's home language. So we will want to make sure that we're doing that as well. So parent support, as I mentioned, we have our wonderful family service workers. So there's going to be a lot of support that's available for you. As I talked about, you'll have that creative curriculum school readiness calendar. You'll be meeting with the teaching teams. We're going to have monthly parent meetings where you'll get additional resources provided for you and additional support that you can do with your kiddos at home, as well as different parent trainings, whether it's on parenting, anything that you want. Definitely let us know and we'll do our best to provide that. Then we have our PC meetings. This is an opportunity for you to participate in our program on more of a governance level. As I mentioned, you have your wonderful family service workers. They work with the specific sites, but they also are here to support all of you. Miss Annabelle Davis works with Aloha, Hawaiian, and Melbourne sites, as well as our area of governance. Ms. Sandra Martinez supports Carver and Willow, as well as our service areas of health and nutrition. And then Jennifer works with Kennedy and Nemis, as well as she's our eligibility and enrollment specialist. So parent engagement, what does that look like? So as I mentioned, there's many opportunities for you to become involved in the program. You actually are the decision makers. You vote on different action items. Staff is not allowed to vote on those. You can participate in our parent meetings, our policy committee, as I mentioned, our monthly PC meetings. Sometimes we have subcommittees that are working together on strategic goals. And you can even become a delegate to LACO on the policy council. So lots of ways for you to get involved, lots of ways for you to be able to learn about the importance of being your child's first teacher as well as an advocate for your child within their academic career. Program communication, lots of different ways that we'll communicate with you as well as you can communicate with us. Emails are going to be a way that we communicate quite heavily with you this year, so we're encouraging you to be sure that you're always checking your emails and using that as a way to keep in contact with us and to keep aware of what's happening within the program. I do a quarterly newsletter that I'll be sharing with you as well. As I mentioned, the weekly teaching team check-ins. Lots of our teachers as well as our family service workers use the Remind app. All of our staff have emails. It follows the same format of first dot last name at abcusd.us. So for example, my name is Laura, Lora.Ballard at abcusd.us. We are not housed at the Central District office. We are at what's called District Office West, or you'll often hear people refer to it as the Dow. We're next to the tennis courts in the GAR parking lot, and our direct phone line is 562-229-7985. You're more than welcome to text me. This is my cell phone number. You can text or call me if you have any questions or concerns. This is our fax number to the office, as well as you can follow us on social media on both Instagram and Twitter. We often post different things that are happening within our program. So lots of different ways to stay in touch with us, to stay aware of what's happening, and to communicate any needs or concerns that you may have. So with our MTSS, what this means, this is our multi-tiered systems of support. This is how we provide support for all students. We want to make sure that all students are given the opportunity to succeed both academically and behaviorally. So what does that look like? It's a multi-tiered system of support, meaning there's different layers. Sometimes you'll hear us refer it to as Tier 1. This refers to all children getting support. Then Tier 2, this is more targeted where there's specific students that are working on specific skills. And then intensive, again, smaller group of students, but still working on specific or targeted skills. We do that with professional development for our staff as well as our families. We work as a team. You have your family service worker to support you, our mental health professional to support you, myself as your director to support you, as well as collaborating with the school and community, making sure that you understand your role and what action you can take as a family, being sure that we have up-to-date curriculum and curriculum that's been vetted. And then we do what's called PBIS. This is positive behavior intervention and support, where instead of maybe telling a child not to run, we'll say, walking feet, please. We're putting that twist on it and making it a more positive intervention to behavior. In addition, we have our core values. These are program-wide. If you're a returning family, hopefully these are very familiar to you. We are friendly, we are respectful, we are safe, and we've also added we are resilient. Knowing that we're in a pandemic right now, it's very important that we're having these ongoing conversations with each other as well as our children on what it means to be resilient during these times. Here, what you'll see is our core values matrix. Just gives you some examples of these different core values and how they can be used during distance virtual learning. For example, we can say we're resilient, I can learn new things. Talking about virtual, I can ask for help. And learning, I am loved for just being me. So the teachers will use these when they're doing their Google lessons with children, and we encourage you to also use the same terminology at home and with your family and continue working on those core values. We also, for our social and emotional curriculum, we use what's called Second Step. It works on different skills with the children, and you're also going to be receiving some information so that you can enhance these skills at home. It works on skills for learning, empathy, emotion management, friendship skills, and problem solving. All very important when it comes to the social emotional development of any child. So as I mentioned, you'll be getting in your first grab and go, you'll be getting the second step home link booklet, which mimics the different themes that the teachers will be doing, and that will also be on your creative curriculum school readiness calendar. But we're going to encourage you to bring that to the monthly virtual parent meetings. The family service workers will also be going over that with you so you understand how to best do those activities at home with your children. So again, it's about regularly practicing these lessons, and we recommend that you're reviewing those with your child at the end of each lesson week. There's lots of different supports that we have in the terms of emotional support. So please make sure you see that we have a website that houses a plethora of different resources for you to support you with your mental health and well-being. Our mental health professional, this is a link to a document that shows you their schedule and their availability. So whether or not it's support for you individually or for someone in your family, please make sure that you know that we're here to support you, and there's many resources that are available to you. We will be doing mental health parent workshops during the program year. We also know the importance of increasing resiliency, and this is an information or a tip brochure with different tools for you as parents at home and working on the resiliency during this time with our families. And then another way to connect with this is that there's also additional community resources that have been shared within this link. Our program policies. Please make sure you understand that as educators, we are mandated reporters. And what that means, if we ever suspect abuse or neglect, we are required by law to make that report. It's always about working with our families and working together. So please, if you are struggling or having a hard time, make sure that you're reaching out to one of us so that we can provide the additional resources that you need. Once we get to a point where we get to have in-person learning, please remember that this also means that we want to make sure that no child is left in the car or that they're in an improper car seat. Because again, as mandated reporters, we're required by law to make that report. Health requirements. So as you know, you've had your enrollment calls, hopefully, and it's really important that we're meeting all these health requirements, especially with everything that's going on right now. So what does a complete physical look like? A complete physical includes the lab results for lead, hemoglobin, height and weight, and hearing and vision. These last two bullets typically our health provider was able to do that in the classroom, but unfortunately, since we're not doing in-person learning at this time, we want to make sure that we have this important information, that is what makes a complete physical. As well, it's important to make sure that the dental is complete, including any necessary treatments. As you know, vaccinations right now are important, as they always are, so please make sure that your child is up to date on their immunization. If you ever have any questions about that, of course, you can reach out to one of us, or specifically Sandra Martinez, who oversees our health and nutrition, or Carmen Robles, who is currently our interim nurse, definitely can support you and work with you and your care provider on any questions or needs that you have to make sure our kiddos stay healthy and up to date on their immunizations. So now that we know, obviously, that we're doing DVL, we thought it would be important just to review with you what are the COVID symptoms. You'll see a list here of fever, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, chills, repeated shakes with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, or new loss of taste or smell. Typically, the first three symptoms are the most common, but please note that the CDC has also said there's additional symptoms that sometimes are also occurring. So it's really important, if you have any of these symptoms, that you're working with your care provider to make sure that you're staying staying safe and healthy. So what can you do to make sure you're protecting yourself and others? Know about COVID-19, right? Know what the symptoms are. Know how it's spread, right? Importance of practicing physical distancing, wearing a mask, washing your hands. Protect yourself and others. Make sure that you are not gathering in large groups. Make sure that you are, if you're feeling ill, you're staying at home and you're potentially isolating yourself. Practice that physical distancing of 6 feet. prevent the spread if you become ill. Obviously, if you become ill, you want to make sure that you work with your care provider or stay home. And know your risk for severe illness. Know that if you have other underlying issues, that it's really important to stay healthy during this time. As I mentioned, hand washing is super important. So luckily during Head Start, when we are in person, the kiddos know the correct way to wash their hands, right? They know that it's to wet your hands first, then get the soap, then wash for 20 seconds. So remember, that's typically the happy birthday song twice, or the ABC song. Then you rinse, and then to dry, you get the paper towel and then turn off the water, right? Really important that we're washing our hands during this time, and important that our kiddos are aware of the correct process of washing your hands. I would encourage you to maybe print this, put it in your bathroom, on your bathroom mirror, or review it with your child or children at home so that they're aware, and all the adults too are aware of the correct hand washing procedure. We're fortunate enough to have Miss Lucille Wang as our registered dietitian. She does a lot of nutrition information with us. As I mentioned, this has been confirmed now that meals will be available at elementary sites Monday through Friday from 2 to 3:30. What that means is you'll be able to pick up lunch. You'll have to have a card that will be giving to you during our first grab and go, and I'll be emailing more information about that later, where we're providing a lot of school supplies for you and different information for you to be able to start the school year with your child. But what that means is that you'll be able to pick up a breakfast and lunch for the following day. So Lucille also does nutrition workshops, which are very informative. And then if you have any medical or dental information that you need help with, she's the one to go to. Maybe you have a child at home that is a picky eater, doesn't like to eat their vegetables. She can offer different suggestions or provide different strategies to work with you to be able to work with your child at home. So by all means, if you have any questions in regards to nutrition, Lucille is a person you will want to reach out to. Lots of resources for you here. So once you have this PDF, these are live links, which will take you to different places with different resources for you. I particularly like this article here, is how can I stay positive for my kids when I'm feeling so overwhelmed, right? This is a very challenging time for all of us. So it's important that we're staying healthy and having these conversations so that we can stay resilient for our children. And then this other resource I found I thought was really nice to share with you. It's a variety of activities from children from 1 to 12, different things that are really easy, don't require a lot of supplies, but that you can do with your child at home. So I know we're not meeting live, but typically this would be a time for questions. But by all means, you have my information, you have my cell phone, you have my email, you have the office number, you have the information with all the other staff members that are here to help you. Please, if you have any questions, please reach out to one of us, text me, call me. We'd be happy to answer your questions. But we're really looking forward to meeting with you, both virtually and eventually in person. Until then, please stay safe and welcome to the ABC Head Start family. Take care. Thank you.